How you guys doing? And thanks for watching. It's George here at Wicked Warnings. Got the door open. It's kind of nice out today. We're looking at a 2020 Chevy Traverse. It's a brand new Traverse. This is for our friends in the security industry. We wanted to do a slick top build. We do a lot of light bars for the same client in green. You may have seen some of our other videos. We'll throw a link up to them here. This particular Traverse, kind of a sister to a different Traverse we've done in the past. This one's slick top, as I mentioned. It's got an interior light bar. That's by Feniex inside. We ordered that special for this customer. We can order yours too, any color combination that you need. This particular one's mostly green with a white takedown. It's a little washed out with the door open. You can see in the front grille there, we've got some white hideaways mounted from the back of the top of the grille there where we had a little bit of room. And we've got a green LIN 6 down in the bumper. There we go. Got a little bit better view of it now. We synchronized the LIN 6 to our LED white HA Duo above it. We're doing a low dome in that HA Duo in white. It's back mounted in the grille, and an all green on the LIN 6 below it. They do sync up well. You can get a nice X pattern just like what you see here. We've also got the takedown feature enabled on the interior light bar. That'll work with or without the warning, as you can see without. And if you do have your warning on, the takedown will override. With the takedown feature off, the takedown lights themselves will flash as part of the warning. So we got a little bit of white up high in the middle of the window flashing, a little bit of white right next to the headlights there in the grille, and then a lot of green on each side of the windshield, and a little green on the corners there as well. There's a little bit of corner view for you. I'm going to turn off that takedown switch now and enable the flashing of the takedown. And there you can see the takedown flashing is enabled now. So in standard flash mode, you're going to get the takedowns unless you override them and make them steady by the takedown switch. Let me show you something else cool that I did in the with the front light bar in the windshield, as well as the 6-head stick that was in the back window. We also had a 6-head stick in the back window. You'll see in a little bit. And we did the arrow stick pattern, the directional, on both of these. So as you can see, right here, we're arrowing left. And you can't really see it immediately right now, but the back is also doing it. You can kind of see the 6-head stick reflecting off the door there. Here you can see it. Now they're not in sync because I didn't synchronize them together. No real need for that. But they are both arrow left or arrow right together. And I did put a jumper on the left side of the dashboard in case we wanted to switch which one we're using. Right now the controller has arrow left and arrow right, running both light bars, but it's easily selectable to run front or rear or both. I kept the jumper on the left of the dashboard. Alrighty, so here we're doing left arrow with warning, and you can see that we get a nice alternating takedown flash, as well as our bumper is set up with our warning too. So if you have your warning switch on, this is what you're going to get with your left and right arrow. Of course, we do the right arrow as well. We've got a nice pattern set on each, the left and the right arrow. Kind of slow, definitely one of the better patterns if you ask me. And then for center out, for the center out pattern, we went with a little bit quicker pattern. There's a bunch you can choose. Of course, when you adjust the pattern, you can pick up a variety of different arrow stick patterns in these light sticks, which is cool. So this is just what we had set up. And the back one is set very similar to the front one. It's just a solid 6-head stick, not a split like the windshield. All right, here we are backed up a little bit ways. You can see the full package. This is set up just on their warning switch right now for front warning. See the bright shop lights right above it. Looks pretty good. All right, you can see here in the front warning's on. We got nothing going on in the back right now. But when we switch on the back warning, we're going to get a couple things happening around the back. I'll show you in a minute. And we're also going to get the side-facing Thin-X in green and white. Now that's a LIN series Thin-X in green white. We're using a 90-degree bracket to mount it right to the plastic in the rear window there. And does quite a nice job with that LIN lens. Nice and bright, alternating full amber, or I'm sorry, green and white. Alrighty, and what do we got going back here? So we got the 6-head fusion bar by Feniex in all green. Now we used this by request of the customer to match up with the front fusion, just so the patterns were all the same and everything was the same brand. Works out real well. Below it though, you'll see our LED HAW Duo. It's a low dome in green, and as well as our TIR3 in white. We're using our 90-degree bracket to mount that TIR3 on the underside of that plastic panel that has the license plate lights in it above the rear plate. And we've synchronized the same pattern, the X pattern that we did in the front. Now in the front we were using a LIN 6 and a HAW Duo, and in the back we're using a T3 and a HAW Duo. A T3 is also very easy to synchronize with the HAW Duo. As you can see, you can get that X pattern. So if this is a look you're after, you can use the HAW Duo with the T3 or a LIN 6 and get the same effect. Now, because we had so much lighting on the hatch itself, we didn't want to lose everything by hatch mounting the light stick. So I'll try and turn it down a little bit. You can't even see it just blasts everything here. We'll put it on auto and put the ISO back on auto and see. There you go. So the stick is actually interior mounted. But before we get to showing you all of that, I want to show you back the arrow that we talked about earlier. There's your left arrow pattern in the rear with the warning. You don't need to have the warning on to use the arrow. And there's your right arrow without the warning, but warning will work too. And there's that center out that we spoke about, showed on the front earlier. And here's my favorite mode, your center out with all your warning. I don't know, I just like this pattern. It's kind of cool looking. That's actually the pattern that we have set for warning with the arrow stick off. Same pattern on the front as well. Customer request. The customer really likes this pattern, so that's what we set their stuff at, because that's what they really like. Okay, all lights off. Let me show you how we mounted some stuff, and I'll also show you the Whalen air horn PA system that we installed in this vehicle as well. First off, we got our TIR3s right here. I took that silver panel off when I took out the tail lights to do the hideaway. Pretty easy to do. Pop the panel off the interior of the gate, couple 7mm or 8mm, I believe it was actually 8mm bolts. And we used our 90-degree bracket. You can kind of see we have a nice little flat screw there, and we ran the wiring backwards and up, put it through a little grommet, sealed it up, man, all our waterproof connections behind there, and there's a rubber grommet that goes through the actual metal of the gate that we went through with our wire and sealed that all up too, reinstall that, and that's how we got the TIR3s right here mounted. You could do the same with the LIN 6. You could do the same with the Thin-X. All of them have 90-degree brackets. The Thin-X might be a little tight on space, but I could see it happening. So all those options will work the same on this particular Traverse model if you wanted to do something a little different on yours. Back to talking about the hideaway. You can see it right there mounted next to the factory light. We did remove the lens from the tailgate assembly to do this, but it's a fairly easy process. Drill a 1-inch hole and you can put a hideaway right there. Now that is inside, as you can see, the tailgate lens of this Traverse. So you can do that in any color. We have all the colors of the hideaway, even purple, if that's what you needed. Alrighty, back here on the light stick, you can kind of see there where we mounted our bracket. Basically, this was holding up the headliner from the factory right there in that spot. We took that out and we put in a nutsert and a little bit of threaded rod or a bolt with the head cut off and a bracket. You can use a off-the-shelf bracket. This was actually a leftover bracket we had around the shop, and that's what we ended up with there. Nutsert, nut, bracket. Nice and easy. And that's what it looks like from the back end there. Of course, if your bracket wasn't the exact same size, you could just use a little longer nut and stud there and double nut it, and you can have a nice adjustment for height there with the length before you cut it to fit. We checked ours and then cut it when we knew exactly where we wanted it. Right here, you can see how we mounted our Thin-X. I just had to clean away that shaving from the screw there. And that's just a Thin-X on a 90-degree bracket right there. And we ran the wire through the hole right there in the plastic and brought it around the side. So simple and easy. Mounts right in the back window, but a LIN 6 or a T3 would also work great there, equally with a 90-degree bracket. We were able to just tuck this wire in here. That way, if it was ever removed, you could essentially, actually probably put this plastic plug back into the nutsert and be like nothing was really there, and just get the wire right out of there and be done with it. We ran our wiring down there and forward, and there's a couple little access panels you can pop out to help you better route the cabling as you're going to go forward all the way to your switching. All right, so as far as the hideaways and the grill, I spoke with a customer on a previous build of his, and he really did like the old school headlight flashing that the police cars had, and these guys do work security, so they like to have the look, and the easiest way to replicate that is, of course, a white LED back and forth. And on this particular grill, and a couple of other grills we've done for the same company, it just seemed to work out real nice to pop a 1-inch hole and back mount our Hod Duo low dome, and we get a nice bright white effective alternate flash on the top of the grill, and it's minimally invasive. That top piece of the grill, I guess you could replace later, or you could do something else to cover up the hole, but not a real big invasive install there. And then below it, this particular model doesn't have fog lights, but we put right above the standard fog light location in the bezel there our LIN 6, and we did drill a hole for the wire there on that LIN 6. You can see you did the same on the other side, and we were able to synchronize them up with the LED above it because they're in the same family of lights. So the Hod Duo and the LIN 6 do synchronize quite nicely. That's really what we did around the front. There's a 100-watt speaker buried underneath there, but I didn't take any pictures of where we put that at the time. Alrighty, so here in the cab, you can see this is where we mounted our Mini 6 controller and our microphone. The microphone comes out of a nice grommet hole back there in the rear, and we did mount the amplifier controller unit kind of behind it, way in the back there. After you take off the side panel, you can get after it in the way back. We were able to actually secure it with a factory stud, and we supplied a nut and we were able to lock it down on a factory stud. Worked out real well. So here you can see around the back, if I take you in there we go. We clipped back the mat area and we ran our wiring down through there. That goes to the back of this controller. Now this is a swivel mount, but we kind of fixed it in place right here. We like that location, works out real well. We keep the microphone right here. Of course, on the controller, we've got all of our functionality. Let's see here. There you go. I'll try to focus it a little better for you. Alrighty. We've got our front light bar. We've got our rear lighting. Front lighting, more than just a light bar. We've got our horn button. Now that's a momentary button. That does the air horn tone. We've got our takedown. That turns on the takedowns. Got our main on and off to turn on and off the system right there. And as you can see, it is backlit, so you can see it at night. And as I said, we keep the microphone just tucked right up in here. Don't use the microphone all that often, but it is nice to have when it's needed. Simple, easy control right here in the cockpit for the whole system. Customer likes that kind of stuff. So above it here, these were a chore and a half. This is a Traverse. At the time of filming, there wasn't a mount really made for the Traverse, the 2020 Traverse that I could find. This is a Fusion interior light bar, universal bracket, universal style. It comes with a nice fat foam gasket, which was extremely useful on this install. I will fire it up right now because I'm sure you're wondering about the flashback. So let me fire it up. And you can see we're getting just a little bit on the edges. And I'm debating if I want to put an ugly tape here to try to get rid of that or not. It really isn't that bad. It's just a tiny bit. So I was quite happy with how well this worked along here and really did seal up the forward vision. It's really not bad. Like I say, I may address this if the customer wants me to, but I think it would be an ugly solution to a minimal problem. So we'll turn this back off. Back to what I was talking about. No good brackets that fit that I found. So we ordered the universal, and what we were able to do with the universal is after pulling the headliner down and pulling this pain in the butt out, 4 clips, 1, 2, 3, 4. They are metal clips, but man, it feels like you're going to bust this thing. We had to kind of take the headliner down and get in there with a screwdriver to help the clip from the top. It was a pain in the butt. I guarantee it was. So anyways, with the metal clips over here, we found that there was enough meat in a dual layer piece of metal on the roof here to use a self-tapping screw, pre-drill, nice and careful, because these universal clips don't fit nothing. And this doesn't fit anything here either. And this is a dedicated car for these guys, so the 4 little tiny holes that the screws are going to leave in the headliner, they're sacrificial. We had to do it to get the interior light bar the way they wanted it. So put it back up. It's nice, locked in, tight to the windshield. That's how we have it set up. I mean, if you have a better way, by all means, show me via email, drop a comment, share it with the world, man. Because this is just what we did, and I think it worked out real well. Same situation over here. The universals just kind of whiff it, but there's enough meat there, and the appropriate size screw. I think I used an 1.25 inches, but definitely was very careful with my drill bit, made sure exactly what I was doing when I did it. And there we go on that. So actually, I got it back popped in there. So that's how that mounted up. I'll turn it back on for you. There you go. And you can kind of see in the back. You don't lose very much view in the back at all. You can see that just hangs down very little. It's snug right up to the bottom of the headliner there. So overall, I'm real pleased with this install. Thanks for sticking with me. 15 minutes here. And drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Make sure you take a look for the other video, the outside videos, and the other cousins of this build that we've also done in green. And we'll put links to all this stuff, and make sure you email in with any questions, info@wickedwarnings.com, and keep us in mind. Again, it's George at Wicked Warnings. I'm your #1 source for construction and emergency safety and strobe lighting equipment for all kinds of applications: cars, vans, buses, trusses, bicycles, tricycles, SUVs, 2020 Chevy Traverses like this, and many other things. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video. Man, I almost forgot to show you guys the coolest part about this build. Oh, hey, back here. We got our ticket light. Oh, yeah, a little extra white. And a little cool red. So we got that red light in here. That was it. It's a little ticket light up there. Kind of cool. I like it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye now. WickedWarnings.com.